Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. This summer I'll be doing a series of mini album tutorials and project shares for you, and this is my very first video in the series. In today's tutorial, we're going to be constructing the pages to this mini album. I am using a Heartfelt Creations base for this mini album, and I tell you, if you can get your hands on a mini album base, go right on ahead and do it. These are your best friends. They only cost about $10 or $12 depending on your vendor, and if you don't have a favorite vendor, I'm going to go ahead and link you to a couple of places where you can get either the Heartfelt Creations mini album bases or the Graphic 45 mini album bases, and these are available in several colors like the black that you see here and the craft color and also the off-white. The spine to this Heartfelt Creations mini album base is approximately 3.5 inches, and the mini album itself stands at 9 inches tall and approximately 7 inches wide, and the pages inside are approximately 6.5 inches by 8.5 inches. For this mini album tutorial, we're going to be using the Love Clippings 12 by 12 collection kit by Prima. Now, I don't know if this collection is still available. I will try to find it and link it in the description area below. Now, the first thing that I do when I make a mini album is choose my front and back cover as you see here, and then I go right on ahead and adhere it to the front and back of the mini album. By tackling this first makes it a heck of a lot easier later on when it's time for me to decorate the cover of the mini album. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. We're going to be trimming our front and back covers to 5 5/16 by 8 7/8, and then we're going to ink around the edges. Next, we're going to adhere our paper to the cover of our mini album by applying some art glitter glue. The one that I use is by, let's see, it's called Art Glitter Designer Adhesive by Art Glitter. I'm just reading off the bottle, folks. And so anyways, I really like this glue because number one, it dries fast, it dries clear, and there are no air bubbles. Yes, no air bubbles. And it's a little bit on the pricey side, but not by that much, okay? And yeah, I'll go ahead and leave a link to the art glitter glue in the description area below. Now, this is going to be a very basic mini album tutorial. It is great for beginners, but we are going to have our flips and our folds, but we're not going to make it super fancy. This project, I believe, is doable for anybody who's been crafting, whether it's for 15 years or for 15 months. But yeah, for the first page we are going to be using some black cardstock, and we're going to be cutting it down to 6 1/8 by 8 1/8. Now that 6 1/8 by 8 1/8 dimension is a dimension that I'm going to be sticking throughout the video so that my papers are uniform, and some of the papers will be trimmed a lot shorter than others. And shorter, I don't mean lengthwise, I mean widthwise, okay? But you will see that throughout the video. And also for the folds, I will be using the 1/2 inch mark for the folds. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. What you see me doing here is I'm trimming the edge of the cardstock just a little bit, so that way when I fold, it'll be able to fold correctly and not overlap onto the next page. So now we're going to trim another piece of black cardstock to 5.5 by 8 1/8, and we are going to score it at the 1/2 inch mark. I've also trimmed another piece of cardstock to 8.5 by 6 and scored it at the 1/2 inch mark, and this is going to be my top flap. My apologies because I'm off frame here, but what I'm doing is I'm slightly trimming off the edges so that way when I adhere my cardstock onto the mini album, it's not bulky. So that took care of the first page, and my apologies for not being in frame. I promise you my next video will be a lot better. I just didn't realize that I was off frame. But anyhow, yeah, as I stated earlier, we're just building the pages. I am not, at this point, I am not going to adhere the magnets or the papers or anything like that. We are just going to construct the pages, do the flips, do the folds, and in my next video tutorial, that's where we're going to move on to the magnets and adhering the designer paper. So on to the next page. So for this next page, we're going to be building a simple pocket. We are going to trim a piece of cardstock 8.5 by 7, and what we're going to do next is we are going to score on both ends at the 1/2 inch mark, and then at the bottom at the 1/2 inch mark and fold. And when we fold, we are going to trim kind of like a right side triangle right along those edges, simply because we don't want to create any unnecessary bulk. Next, I'm going to use my 2-inch circle punch and punch half a circle right at the center of my pocket. This way it'll be easier for me to use photo mats in that pocket. Now on to the third page. We're going to do a couple of more flips and folds for this page, and always keeping in mind that no matter what the width of your page is, you do want to keep your height uniform. So we're sticking with that 8 1/8 of an inch for the height of our cardstock. Now, here's something that I need to let y'all know. If you are constructing a mini album right alongside this video, I do need to let you know that there is an afterthought later on in this video. So you will see me come back to this page because I had created another flip for a different page, and I wasn't so happy with that one, with the way it was looking. So I decided to come back to this third page and insert it onto this one. So I decided to include a waterfall effect on the fourth page, and this is going to be a sideways waterfall. It will be contained with seam binding, so we're going to cut some seam binding at approximately 33 inches, and we are going to be using our glitter glue to adhere the seam binding onto the mini album. Next, we're going to trim 4 pieces of cardstock. One at 6 1/2, another at 6, another at 5 1/2, and the last one at 5. And keep in mind that the length is always going to be 8 1/8 of an inch. You'll then score and fold each one of these pieces at the 1/2 inch mark. So here you see me trimming a piece of cardstock for the 5th and final page. Now, as I'm putting the page together, scoring and so forth and so on, I decided that I wasn't really crazy about the way this was turning out, and I started flipping through the mini album, and this is when I decided to include this flap on the 3rd page. With that done, I moved to the 5th and final page of our mini album. So we have constructed all 5 pages of this Heartfelt Creations mini album. We have the flips and the folds and the pockets, and I hope that you found this tutorial helpful and inspirational. Now remember, this is a series of tutorials that I'm creating for you this summer. Now the next mini album tutorial will be using this very exact mini album, and we will be attaching the Prima papers, and we will be doing some die cutting and also adhering the magnets. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. We're gonna have a load of fun this summer creating mini albums. Leave me a nice comment, thumbs up if you enjoy my videos and want to see more tutorials such as these, and share my videos. I will see y'all again real soon. Bye now.